I don't know if I'll upload this video before part 5 of exploring Laval. If I can. I mean, it's already uploaded, it's just blocked. Let me retract my wording. I don't know if I'll upload this before I resolve the visibility issues with the video that was made before this. If any of you are put off by the crying, then click off the fucking video and unsubscribe. If you think it's manipulative, oh, good for you. I don't care. Give me proof that it's manipulative and then talk to me. And I don't know if it's unethical of me to do so. I don't know. I don't fucking know. So, why am I all tearful? Well, the last only 2.5 days have been horrendous. So, I'll lay out what happened. If you're able to see part 5 of Exploring Laval, and at the end, if you're able to see it before this, well, at the end of it, I'll be sitting pretty well exactly where I am right now. But, well, just over a ways on a bench outside of the downtown public library of Laval, Quebec, by City Hall, and what I believe is a mega pharmaceutical company's fucking headquarters. Yeah, hi, look at me and then drive away. You don't even bother to stop and ask if I'm alright. Goodbye. Long story short, my backpack that I've had not just since I left Toronto on this journey, since I think 8th grade here in Canada. Well, it was stolen. Not by force. I went over to a neighboring building here that had an external outlet, because the library was closed, just to charge up my portable charger. And because I've been trying to break my amount of paranoia, social paranoia, I just left my backpack on, as I've done in various other places countless times before, to some degree or another, various belongings of mine, including in the library. I just left it out on the bench. And I walked over by where my thing was charging. And I could still see my backpack, for the most part, from the adjacent parking lot. I'd literally just move a few feet to my right or my left and I'd be able to see it. See it just sitting there. I was standing over there between maybe 6:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. So about maybe 2.5 to, no, yeah, I don't know, 2.5 to 3 hours. And, well, I decided that, well, I think it had been charged up enough. So, I went to grab it, and then went to walk back to my backpack. And it was gone. I don't know how. This is the parking lot. The back end of the library faces a bunch of very low-income apartment complexes. Whoever stole it, there's quite literally only 3 ways they could have gone. There's a small opening in a fence right over there that leads to that apartment complex over there that you would have had to have passed by where I was to get through. I don't know how I would have been so oblivious to not see someone walk straight past there with my backpack. Or over here, just onto the adjacent sidewalk of a main road. It's clearly visible again from where I was standing. Or, there's no possible way, because I was looking this direction the whole time. If they fucking grabbed it and walked around the other end, towards the other main road, not running parallel to this one. I would have been the most visible spot, and somehow they got away with it. And so, naturally, the conscious apathetic response set in, and I got so frustrated. It was just agitation. I wasn't screaming mad. I wasn't relentlessly expressively furious. I just was so agitated. And so I ran towards, picked eeny, meeny, miny, moe, picked that road over there and started walking up the block. And I walked into, and it was about this hour, walked into these various apartment complexes, or where I could actually access that wasn't locked. Tried asking a few people, have you seen someone with a black Puma backpack with a tear in its strap, and it's kind of sagging down, and it has a toothpaste bottle and toothbrush in its one of its sleeves. It has a deodorant bottle in the fucking other. And all just said, no, 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 they haven't, no. And I ran all the way around to the Downaways subdivision of the downtown area here in the southwest end of it. And I came back here. And as I got further into my searching of the night, I got more vocally angry, and I was so fucking infuriated. And then I walked down towards a plaza that borders the southwestern end of the downtown area in the St. Martin district. Asked some restaurant owners if they had seen someone with it. They said no. One of them was a complete genius, absolute second coming of Sherlock fucking Holmes. I said to them my backpack was stolen. Have you possibly seen someone wearing this description of a backpack? And they said, no, I haven't seen it. Someone probably took it. Genius! How did you at all figure that one out? You moron. And then I sat on a bench outside of that plaza and just put my head down and fucking cried. And then after a while, I got even more swelteringly angry, and I slammed my fist as hard as I fucking could down on the table, because of course I did. And that hurt, but I didn't care. To make matters even better, my phone was dying. And my charger and charging cord were in my backpack. Not my portable charger. I still have that with me. But my main charger. So I went back to my campsite in that grass patch in this portion of the downtown area where I've been sleeping for the past 6 days now. Then the next day, I tried coming back here to the library to ask if I could check the security cameras, because, conveniently enough, dipshit must have been completely oblivious to not notice, one, the cameras above them where they took it, literally right in front of the cameras, and oh yeah, that. Either that or it didn't faze them. And I tried to go into the library to ask the staff, can I look at the cameras? But it was locked, and it was closed, which was interesting because I had got there past 10 o'clock, which it opens at on the daily. That's odd. I thought, okay, I'll wait a bit for people to show up. No one showed up. And then I went to this neighboring building over here, which is apparently how ironic. It's a municipal housing organization for the Vol. I think that's actually to help integrate people into housing units who might not have a stable place to stay. They were closed. Then I went to this adjacent building here, which is, oh, joy of joys, a non-public, referral-only ambulatory care clinic run by the corrupt Cité de la Santé organization that also runs the only public hospital in the city in the northern end. And I walked in, and there was only a security guard working. And I said, "Je ne parle pas français, québécois, anglais." And then English was iffy in terms of communication, but they understood what I said, and I asked, could I please just look at the cameras to see if I could possibly get a glimpse of who took it, or what direction. I didn't even care if I saw the person's face or their features, what direction they went in. And they told me today is National Patriots Day, whatever fucking pointless civic holiday that is. And that all governmental organizations and buildings were closed on that day. Great. Fantastic. So I then went to the same plaza I went to the other night and asked some stores that were open, since my phone was now dead, did someone have an Android charger that I could use to charge my phone? Nope. So then I figured, you know what? I'll go back to my tent and reflect on things. That's what I always do in things like this. I'll just reflect and think. And so I did, and I just laid most of the day. And then I thought, you know what? I'll get through this and fix it. I'll be able to just bypass this and learn from it. I'll try to track down whoever stole my backpack. And if I can't find them, then I'll have to purchase a new one. And the items that I needed that were in them. And I thought, you know what? It'll be fine. I'll deal with it, as I've dealt with all the other bullshit I've faced in the past. Interestingly enough, as I'm recording this, it's a year anniversary of the video I made titled Leaving Toronto Alone. It's not yet the anniversary of me actually leaving the city and going out into the countryside on my motorized bike. That's coming up in just a few days. But today's May 23rd. One hell of a year anniversary. So I thought, okay, this will be fine. I'll deal with it. At least I can just go back to the public library and do what I was also going to do when I was initially there, because I had edited together the video that I had been working on for 5 days. The second part of showcasing various small business restaurants and the great, fantastic food that they cooked. And it was 3 hours long because, of course, I don't care. And then, so, the day passed and me just taking a day to rest in my tent. And then the next day I got up and walked back here. And they had a charger that I could use to charge my phone, which I did, and which I've done. And at the same time, I tried uploading the video. And it took its usual amount of time. Then I get a notification saying my video has been copyright claimed. Okay, so what? That's happened before. And it is completely blocked from visibility worldwide. Fuck you, YouTube. Your shitty fucking automatic monitoring system for your guidelines, for your copyright system claims, for monetization. It's pointless and it causes so much more strife than positivity. And then I was like, the conscious apathy flooded back in. And so I began the process of scrambling to search, look up tutorials on how to remove copyright claims, on how to gain the visibility back to the public, to file a copyright dispute or file an appeal with YouTube, whatever else. But eventually, and I'm not going to go into the whole process of it, eventually I landed on the simplest option would be to just, well, first actually, I deleted the video and then tried uploading it again. Took the same amount of time again. And once again, it was claimed immediately and blocked worldwide. And eventually I came to the simplest option would be to just go into the whatever copyright claim editing options are for YouTube tools in the Studio app and mute the audio for the sections that were copyrighted. Just mute them altogether. Because when I eventually was able to figure this out, the audio clips that were copyrighted were maybe like a minute or two long. Fuck it, fine. I'll mute those. You don't need to hear me yammering on for those 2 minutes. You can pick up on the plot of what I'm talking about with the rest of the audio, or I'll cut those 2 minutes out if you want. Fuck it. And I couldn't figure out how to do it on my phone because it wasn't displaying it. I went into the Studio app, looked at visibility, blocked, looked at content, looked at editing tools, whatever the fuck else it's called, and Well, this option that kept all the programmer, engineer, YouTube, the whole programming community on YouTube, and the whole tutorial guide genre was all saying, just do this, just go here, and it should be there. Well, it wasn't. Well, the option to do this, to, go into the video and edit out or mute the parts of the audio that were a problem, well, it wasn't there. It wasn't there on my fucking phone. And apparently, after talking to a good friend of mine, Nifty Killer, another YouTuber, well, they told me that it only works on computer. Fuck if I know why that is, but fine. So, seeing I was at the public library, I got help from one of the librarians to log into a computer, sign in, go through the process, because I had actually forgotten my password for the whole thing that I had done to create my YouTube channel. Did the whole process, whatever else, and finally I got on to my account and went into YouTube Studio, and actually, yeah, I was able to see it. I was able to actually go to the visibility section and the copyrighted portion of the video, go into the editing, like say, do you want to mute this? Do you want to trim it? And for one of them, I began the process, because there was apparently 3 songs that were copyrighted and were blocking the visibility worldwide, it seemed, I think. I was like, okay, mute the audio. This process will take a while, most likely. You can click off and come back to the page, and you also can't edit anything else while this, process is going on. Fan-fuckity-tastic. So at the very least, I kept charging my phone in a corner somewhere in the library. And then a 5-second timer popped up on the library computer saying it was going to log me off unless if I re-signed in. And obviously it was in Quebecois French, and I panicked and I didn't read it, and I was like, what the fuck? And I clicked something, and holy hell, well, it shut off, and then I was able to get back on, and then, after getting back on, I hit something else, and my god, the whole thing, I thought I had just crashed the computer, because the whole text of code, programming code popped up, and then the screen went dark, and, it just fucking... some more code popped up on the blue backdrop of the screen, and I was like, what the fuck did I hit? What in the fucking shit did I hit this time? I know I'm bad with technology, but really, I click one thing that pops up on an icon, and then I just make the whole circuit board inside of it fry. Or something. And then it shut off. And then I went back to the library, and I was like, yeah, you told me. So they told me, like, in a very monotone and I guess just very passive voice, like, all you gotta do is sign in. Man, basically, just, I don't need to help you with that. Sign in. Well, I went back to them and basically was like, I don't know what I did, but the whole thing turned off. And then they came back to it, and of course, right when we get back, the login screen just came back on. So obviously that made me look like just an idiot to them. Oh, whatever. So I typed in what I needed to type in, got back on, logged in again, and apparently the editing process was still going on. So I waited for, it to finish, hoping that it would, at the very least, not take a dubious amount of time. And then it signed out again because the library was closing. It had reached 10 minutes to 9, which is their closing time on weekdays. Fine. But why I was crying? I literally came just around back here to just think about what I was gonna do. Because I actually was thinking, you know what? Whether or not I get the footage, or like I get from whatever cameras, from whatever building, visibility of the person who took it, just to retract for a second. You might be thinking, well, Cam, didn't you ask to see the visibility today, like on the library cameras, because they were open? You know, those? Want to hear the dumbest policy ever? Apparently, the rewind option on the cameras is not authorized to any library personnel at all. Only the municipal police can rewind the cameras. Not view the cameras, rewind it. Oh, the staff can view the live stream of, like, the live feed of the camera all they want. They can enter whatever security room, wherever the fucking monitors for the cameras are stored, all they want. They can look at it. I'm sure they could probably also fiddle with it in some way, as long as it just doesn't disrupt the live stream. They just can't press the fucking rewind button. Moronic policy. Such a dumb... And I don't fucking know. Maybe it cost them... Maybe it was cheaper for them to do that. Maybe it saved them on some amount of finance. I don't know. I have no fucking clue why that policy was put in place. Or maybe they just thought, oh, well, it's an issue. Theft and stuff like this is an issue for the police. So we'll just, for some reason, make it so that only they can rewind the footage, because they'll need it for investigative purposes. So yeah, that went nowhere. Oh, and you may think, well, why didn't you then just call the police or file a police report? Because they told me you would, because apparently the manager of this branch of the public library said you would have to file a police report. I'm not filing a police report. I'm saying that right now. Why? Moral practicality, that's why. And anarchist. Don't believe in them, and I will not use them. I'm not breaking that moral again. So, I didn't call the police, didn't report it. Not going to. It's not worth it. The most they're gonna tell me is that we'll keep an eye out for a backpack. That's the most they're gonna fucking do. I know it. They're not gonna do anything else. They're not gonna be out here even if I believed in using the police and actually thought it wasn't a detrimental thing for society, a policing system. The most they're gonna do is, what are they gonna do? Patrol the fucking streets looking for a black backpack? That's kind of saggy? So anyway, that went nowhere. And I came out here to just sit and think about my course of action. Then someone I know from Toronto called me and asked how I was doing, as I had texted them before my phone died that, hey, I just got robbed, unbeknownst to me. And that includes my charging cord. So until I figure this out, if I don't text back for a bit, my phone dies, that's why. They called to ask how I was doing, and I just said, oh, I'm holding up. It's fine. It's fine. And I was on the verge of tears because of, and I'll explain why again in a bit. And then they asked, was there anything of value in there? Well, somewhat, yeah, but nothing that I couldn't live without or technically replace. And then it hit me. The locks. For my wagon. My tire locks. The keys were in the sleeve. In the netted sleeve. I forget which side it was on. It was in one of them. The fucking tire lock keys. And then I wasn't letting it on the phone because the conversation was just brief, and then they said goodbye. Because I wasn't in the mood to just talk to them anymore about it. I just wanted to cry. Now I'll explain why I was crying. Because the day that it was stolen was one of the best days I've had in so many years. It was that day I had finished showcasing the small business restaurants, and the last one specifically, what I had talked about in it, it gave me so much joy and hopefulness for things, and gave me so much in terms of my psychological response in relation to my 5 inherent human desires, my subconscious desires that we all have. It gave me so much conscious motivation. It gave me so much joy and happiness, and it was just a very well-rounded day. Obviously not perfect, but a well-rounded day. And then I got here and I was gonna edit it, and I did edit it, and I edited the video, and I exported it, processed it, and was charging one of my devices, and I thought, this will be fine. It'll be fine. It'll go somewhat smoothly. And then I look back and the backpack is gone. What was in my backpack? A knife, a fillet knife for protection, a lighter, my half-finished printed out theories and implementations in the for the scientific community that I was carrying with me for a copy for myself, my printed out video game plots that I had initially been writing, that I had stopped all those months ago, and my diagrams, my original diagrams that I had drawn out, that I had pulled an all-nighter in Ottawa for 3 of them to draw out and think so detailedly, just intricately think of how this could make sense on a diagram. Which, by the way, if any of you have made it through, and I'll say this at the beginning of another video just so people don't have the chance to fucking skip over it, I recently opened my community tab, because apparently I have that option now. The first post to it was my diagrams, the ones I had initially made. Go look at them. And then my medical kit, my nursing kit, because I'm a self-proclaimed and self-employed medic. My nursing kit was in there. And then various other over-the-counter medications that I had purchased in Ottawa for the use of treatment of patients, if they were needed, with worn and teared packaging that had been wet and damp and that had dried and torn and clumped up underneath. A bunch of other stuff. And then some various dried out markers and some photographs from my last high school yearbook that I just wanted to keep with me, I guess, just for sentimental reasons. And that was fucking it. And then random trash that I barely even used. And then, well, my toothbrush and hygienics, all that. But that's not the main reason that I was crying, because all that is technically replaceable. Sure, it'll cost me a bit more if I even am able to find another medical kit. There is apparently a medical supply store in the downtown area here in Laval. I can see if they have it. Fine. I'll spend the money. I don't care. And you know what? I'll figure out a fucking way to get those tire locks off. Fine. They're stuck to Cardi B. I'll fucking pry them off if I have to. Someone in some security guards in the video I showed of functioning social anarchism, or what I thought was a good example of social anarchism in the modern world. Well, when I left the area, when I had my wagon chained up where it was in front of the public subway station, they were apparently able to move it, so fine. They're not that great at keeping my wagon in place, so fine. I'll find a way to get them off. And fine, I can fix the visibility, apparently, hopefully, on my other YouTube video. I'll fix it. I know the issue now. I'll go tomorrow morning, first thing, however many hours it takes. Fine. If it's still processing, fine. Even with me being signed out. Fine, fuckity fine. I can probably fix all that. But what got me so much was just how something could go so wrong in the smallest of ways. After such a fantastic day from my perspective, in just not even, I would have preferred, honestly, I've been investigating gang activity of this area of the city. Corruption of the municipal healthcare system. Possible insurance fraud in the northern end of the city. House 265. I haven't put any of that off. I'm still going to investigate it. But how it just all in the smallest of ways went so wrong. So wrong. I would have preferred, and I mean this right now in all sincerity, to have been shot at. To have been stabbed in the arm. To have had a car bomb go off by me and narrowly surviving. Than to have something just turn into complete chaos in the most minor of agitating ways. I don't give two fucking shits if that sounds like the most ridiculous thing that any of you have ever heard. I would rather have endured something majorly disasterful than something just so idiotically, stupidly minor. Something so pathetically, over the course of 2.5 days, not even 3 days. Karma couldn't even let me have, wait till the next day to have my backpack stolen. No, it had to be that day. Just at the end of a wonderful day. It had to be that day. For those of you wondering, no, I don't actually believe in karma. That was sarcasm. In the most minor of ways, it went so sour and wrong. My backpack, all the items in it, the keys to my locks on my wagon, in it, gone, charging cord, gone. And whoever took it, I feel so sorry for you. I have empathy for you. If I was ever to track you down, I'm not going to hurt you. I don't want to hurt you. In fact, one of the main reasons, not just to get my things back, I want to know why. I would have actually spent time with them if I had tracked them down to ask, you know what, why did you take it? Neuroscientist here. I want to know why and maybe try and help them. I would have asked, why did you take it? What compelled you to do so? Financial desperation? That's the most likely option. Either that or the person just has domineering behavioral disorder and they did it to get some sort of thrill out of it. They wanted to feel on top. They wanted to feel powerful. They wanted to just take something so small. Just think, yeah, I have so much fucking power. I feel so strong. I feel like a big person taking this. Because it's so devious. That's another option, but I think that's less likely. And actually, as I mentioned if it's visible, at whatever point, part 5 of Exploring the Vault, the day before that day, outside this public library, I had a bottle of soap stolen from me. I sat it down beneath a bench and just went inside for maybe an hour. And I had visibility of it from the window that I was sitting at from the 2nd floor, and someone took it. A bottle of soap. Christ. So maybe it's the same person. Or just there's a few people around this area who like scouting it out to see if there's any actual valuables to take. Or, well, seeing as I've been investigating the gang activity or gang markings, territorial markings of this area, which I'll have clips of either, another video. I'll put them at the end of another video. Well, maybe someone's been tailing me. Maybe that was a warning. Taking the soap, maybe. Or taking my backpack, maybe. I'm left to speculation, but I think that's the last possibility, considering if it was on the command of, well, gang authorities, then I'm assuming they would have left some sort of marking or message. Like an actual written message or a symbol or something to say, hey, stop snooping around our territories. Which, by the way, if any of them are watching this, look, I have no quarrel with you, okay? The only reason I'm investigating you is to investigate the history of the city, and I want to know why, obviously, analytical neuroscientist in me, for research purposes, general research purposes. I don't morally condone what you're doing at all. It's completely unethical as far as I'm concerned, and you're horrible human beings. But I'm not going to stop you from what you're doing. I don't think at all, in most regards, that's ethical of me. Maybe in some regards it is unethical to not, but you know what? I'm not going to stop you, okay? And I'm not reporting you to the police. If they get involved from whatever I showcase of it, oh well, I'm sorry, but as far as I'm concerned, not my prerogative. But I have no quarrel with you, and I'm not in any way attempting to stop you. And ultimately, in terms of me just leaving my backpack on the bench, well, I only have myself to fucking blame. I do believe in personal responsibility. I only have myself to blame for that. But here's the other part. Whoever stole it, well, you only have yourself to blame for taking it. We both only have ourselves to fucking blame. I left it there in the first place, and you decided to steal it. Interestingly, actually, thinking back to when I was sleeping on the streets of Toronto for the week that I was before I left, I've had something stolen from me before. I had a jerry can stolen from me. A gas canister. Don't believe it was... Yeah, it wasn't even full. Had it stolen from me. It wasn't of grave importance. And what pisses me off even further is I bet the person who took the backpack, they didn't even look in it. I guarantee you, they didn't even look in it. They didn't even open the zippers. They didn't even open the compartments. They didn't even check, I guarantee you, to see if there was anything they thought that was actually valuable to steal, to pawn off for maybe even so much as $5 to anyone around here who would use any of it for some purpose. What's anyone around here most likely going to use a goddamn medical kit for? Unless they actually have some sort of affiliation to medical practice. Or unless they know how to use it. Maybe they do, fine. I guarantee it's going to be hard to find them. If you really are desperate to sell the shit off. Lighter, knife, what? $9 you'll get from it? In total? How pathetic do you have to... No, honest to God. Morally, how pathetic of a person do you have to be to actually steal a backpack? I don't care if you're in a high-end, ultra-rich area, which is down that way, by the way, or in a low-income community. How pathetic do you have to actually be to not even check in a backpack, which I guarantee you that they didn't do? How pathetic. How much of an idiot do you have to be? What a self-centered, dismissive, psychopathic prick. And let me break that down in psychological terms for any of you who are thinking, because of course everyone's so obsessed with how we assign labels to things. Let me break it down for you in terms of those labelings that I threw out on them, which I'm concluding to some amount. Psychopathy, lack of empathy, lack of sympathy, lack of compassion. They didn't clearly care or bother to think of how their actions affected someone who had possessions in that item. And they took it. They didn't care. I guarantee you they didn't cross their minds for a second to think that it was somebody's, who had just left it there. Especially even a worker outside of working in here. Dismissive. They brushed off that possibility. They didn't care. They didn't care. They brushed it off. It was like, whatever. Whatever, I'll take it. It'll do me some good, I think. Self-centered, egocentric, yep. Your sense of self was more important than my sense of self. To them. Their egos were higher than the moon. They didn't think, well, this could be somebody's, and it could have valuables to them. They attribute to, well, their personal, well, they personally care a lot about them. Which, to be fair, the only things in there that I genuinely cared a lot about were my diagrams and my theories, and my games to an extent that I had written out. But, well, not so much compared to the rest. And even then, it's replaceable. But my God, you didn't care. And it's immoral. I don't care. No, I do care. I'm going to stop saying, actually, that I don't care. Because I do care. Let me start using a new word that I'm going to actually try and go by. What is it? I don't abide. I don't abide by it. I don't abide by this bullshit, that bullshit belief. Whatever, if it's a belief, then I don't abide by it. An ideological stance, a philosophy, I don't abide by it. I care about it, but I don't abide. And I know why this person did it. Psychological traumatization. That's it. That's the reason. There isn't another possibility. There isn't. Idiots in this world who actually have no understanding about how psychological health works. Don't have a fucking clue about how their emotions function. And don't have a clue about the ideological systems in society that cause psychological disorders. They don't have a clue. Even if they claim to know. They clearly don't demonstrate that they fucking know it. You know, I did think, and I actually thought about this. I thought about setting a trap. Not a violent trap. I thought about literally just putting some belongings out here. Again, hiding over in those in the tree line, that small tree line over there in the dark, and waiting to see if someone actually came by and tried taking it, where I would then lunge out from the bushes and demand they stop in whatever in metathesis Quebecois French. And I know that was racist of me to say there. That I didn't mean it in that way. I was thinking about doing that. But I'm not gonna. And you know what? You know what? I'm not even gonna go looking for my backpack. I'm not. You know what? I hope they ruffle through it. If they can read and understand English, then I bloody well hope they read those goddamn theories of mine. And I hope they look over those diagrams. I hope they learn something from it. Especially the diagram for the ripple perspective of your own moral fucking actions. I hope you look over that. And maybe you learn something from it. I'll go buy what I need. I will redraw my diagrams. I will do it all again. Fuck it. Thought maybe after eating the amount that I have in the last few days, I could maybe be like, fine, I'll save a bit. I'll withhold on, obviously, I'll cut back on my spending a bit more for a little while. Nope, well, that's not happening. Not happening at all. And I'm not giving up. I'm in Laval, Quebec, Canada, and I am not giving up. I've got nowhere else, as far as I'm concerned, to go to if I did give up. I'm not going back to Toronto. I don't give a shit. I'm not going back to Ottawa. I don't give a shit. I'm not going back to Crow's Landing, Ontario. I'm not going back to Peterborough, Ontario. I'm not going back to any of them. I'm not going back to Gatineau as of right now. I am going to Montreal, after Laval, then Longueuil, then out to the countryside, Drummondville, whatever else other cities or towns are out on the way, then to Lévis, then to Quebec City, through the winter. Hopefully I don't die from hypothermia. Then up to Labrador City, then to fucking Iqaluit, Nunavut, and then out to the 59, I think it was 59 other countries that I tried to get to, or 49. One international. To all the rest. I'm not giving up, and I don't care how much I lose. I don't care how much is still. And in terms of my theory of globalized social paranoia and me still trying to break the amount of paranoid behavior that is instilled in me mentally, what I want to break, still happening. I'm not letting this incident influence my decision to just leave my items out. Sure, yes, obviously, I will keep a bit of a better eye on them. If I leave them out from now on, I'm going to, in terms of something like my backpack or something that's not as heavy as, say, my wagon or anything else that can't be just weighed down from its own fucking mass. Well, in terms of something like a backpack or bag, fine. I will set it down, but I'll make sure that if I'm, say, out in the open, I won't go out of sight of it. It won't be out of my sight if I go like a ways away from it. It'll still be in my sight constantly. Fine. But I'm still going to set it down. I don't care. I don't give a shit. People do not realize how
because of these issues. Something like this is what instills this trauma into people. And then they start acting in ways to just actively prevent it. Something that cannot be controlled. You worry and you worry and you worry and you meander around and you keep contributing to this fucking system. In fear of fucking starvation, one. And fear of alienation and fear of fucking lack of social... Fear of everything else. Fear of physical pain, fear of psychological pain, fear of everything. Well, I'm not letting it instill more fear in other people and me and disrupt my pro-socialization more than it already has. I'm not. Not in the slightest. As far as I'm concerned, I'm behaving just in the same way that everyone else who behaves in a fucking unethical way because of psychological disorder or indoctrination behaves. Now let's say if the police were ever to catch whoever took my backpack, if I was to file a complaint, I wouldn't even press charges. I wouldn't press charges because, again, also anarcho-communist. I'm not going to press charges and take financial means away from the person who I know is most likely severely struggling or did it out of a psychological disorder. Or, well, yes, did it out of... Or maybe some degree indoctrination. Whatever it is, I'm not pressing charges. If I was even to go the police route, which I'm not. They're probably not, most likely in terms of what I've experienced, just in terms of the judicial system as a whole, and just the policing system, most likely they're going to be classist towards me in terms of... Okay, you know what? Maybe that's a bit of their social paranoia. Maybe that's a bit of ignorance on my part. Maybe that's prejudice. Either way, I don't agree ideologically with it. It's authoritarianism. It's absolute authoritarianism. One way or another, I'm not going towards the police. So, this was a rant. How much battery do I have left? 58%. Well, I don't know if I upload this first, well, obviously this one will show up first, and then, well, part 5 of Exploring Laval. Either fucking... Well, whenever it's visible, maybe it'll be after this one, or maybe it'll just show up in place before this one, after this one's uploaded on my channel, the channel's home display. I don't fucking know. I don't know. Or I'll wait however long until the copyright claim runs out. I don't fucking know. If me trying to fix the visibility doesn't work. Because it's still on there. Hasn't been deleted. It's just not fucking visible. Still on my channel. So, I'll upload this. But here's another sad reality, just quickly before I guess I'll sign off of this rant. Because of so much meandering around their fucking little lives and fucking do this, gotta go here, do this, grab this, pen this, pay this, go to the job here, get my fucking paycheck and then go here and then pay this bill and do that. Oh, I don't have time to watch a 19-year-old ranting for an hour and a half. Yeah, here's the sad reality. Most people will probably not even get past the 5 fucking minute mark. They most likely won't hear this. Most likely not. I don't care. For even the one person who's watching this out there and actually is learning something from this, well, I hope you actually care. I hope you do. And to anyone out there actually as well, who knows that they have the time to watch at least 2 of my videos a week, and don't, and claim that they actually care about what I'm talking about, you're assholes. You're a piece of shit. Okay. So whoever stole my backpack, I know I said this the night you took it. I'm sorry if you don't speak English as well. Well, I hope you put it to fucking good use. Hope you get whatever fucking payment you wanted out of it. There was nothing in there of mass value to steal anyway. Hope you're happy with your decision, you self-centered asshole. Morally inept idiot. And I hope you look at what's inside the backpack and read it. And I hope you self-reflect on your shitty life choices, you pathetic moron. I'm not coming to look for you. You live with your damn decision. As I'll live with mine, deciding to leave it on that bench, which was clearly a bad idea. If you do have a change of moral conscience, well, I would like you to just return the goddamn backpack back to this bench where you took it from. Whenever. But if not, then fucking keep it or spend it in terms of profit. Do something with it, and I guess will gratify your fucking over-the-moon sense of self. If you're gonna claim you took it because, oh, survival of the fittest and I needed to pay my bills to feed my family, well, you're pretty fucking weak. As far as I'm concerned, that's one of the weakest and most shallow and most... It's one of the most measly things you could have done to a person. You stole a backpack. How pathetic. Trust me, you're not going to feed yourself or your family for, I guarantee you, even so much as 4 or 5 days with the amount of things that you could actually financially gain from what was in there. Nothing. So as far as I'm concerned, you're a pretty unfit son of a bitch, daughter of a bastard. You're just all around prick. Self-reflect and good night.